right. We've got the red light. Everything looks good.
We are definitely live.
Let's go.
Live. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Coaching Over Coffee. I know it has been a hot minute. However, back by popular demand, here we are from right to left. You have got Coach Ryan, Coach KC. Ignore this person right here because we're going to give her the grand introduction in a minute. And I am Coach Dan. As always, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all of the fun stuff. But for the grand introduction, drum roll, please.
You can't give yourself an own drum roll.
Who do you think you are? Jeez.
Why don't you toot your own horn while you're at it? Start your own band.
Oh my God. I'm the lead singer of my band. This is Coach Eden Cormier, one of the newest people to join the gym team. And now she's in the hot seat, finally.
Yeah.
Seat is definitely hot for her today.
Very.
So, Coach KC, do you want to fire away?
I would love to. Well, first, Eden, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, like a little bit of background and how you got here today?
Like Reader's Digest version. Doesn't have to be like from birth and then the first thing you ate and your baby shoes and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, because that was
Last
like
year.
yesterday.
Yeah,
so.
good.
So my name's Eden. I grew up locally. I went to South Glens Falls. I have 3 younger brothers, so I kind of grew up around sports, my own and theirs. So that's where I kind of really found like my love for like fitness and stuff like that. And then when it was time to decide to go to college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I found exercise science to be something that I was very interested in. So that's where I also was able to dive deeper into the world of fitness and sports like that. So I actually went to college. I got my bachelor's degree in exercise science. And then from there, I was like, well, now what? And then tested some different things, and I ended up here. So, yeah.
Awesome.
And we're so lucky to have you.
Thank you.
I remember when you were very, very younger in our speed and agility camps at the junior high.
Yeah.
And that was my first time I met you.
I think so, too. I was probably a different human.
But you were also very competitive. You and the other brothers used to work very, very hard. I remember that, so that stuck out for me, which was very impressive.
Thank you.
First question, Case.
Okay, first question. How do you define success, and how has your definition of success changed over time?
Ooh, okay. Wow. Hot seat got hot real quick.
For real, ouch. So I feel like for a long time I saw success as like, I want to say like the typical like normal life. Like success was like, okay, I'm going to graduate college. Okay, like then what's next? Like I said, like the normal American life, like getting a job, like I thought that'd be successful and stuff like that. And changed actually when I came here and I sat down with Ryan, and Ryan likes to ask a lot of tough questions.
Ooh.
So, but it's good because it picks my brain a little bit. But then we did have a conversation of like success and what that means, and I feel like it's changed in the fact that like there's always going to be something else out there. So I feel like there's no really like top bar that like is going to be like, okay, like I've reached all the success. I feel like there's always going to be something else to reach for, and so I feel like success is like little things, little goals, stuff like that, but it's also just overall like moving forward.
Okay. I think that's a good question for all of us. Dan, what do you think success is in your definition or your playbook?
For me, I think success is being comfortable with who you are when you put your head on the pillow. Like you can have a really bad day, so to speak, but as long as you find successes in it, whatever those might be, and the definition is different for every person, as long as you can lay down at night or like finally sit down and be like, it was good, even through the bad stuff.
Okay.
What about you, Casey Lou?
Feel like to flip that, success is like being uncomfortable, but like putting yourself in situations that you didn't think you would be able to do, being out of your comfort zone, but then overcoming those things. I feel like it used to be like a dollar amount, and that's changed, like kind of what you said.
Yeah.
What do you judge success to be?
It's always changed. I think it's like that stereotypical dollar, car, house, like those type of materialistic things. I think that's what you think about when you're younger. I look at it as like, do you feel fulfilled? Like does your bucket get filled every single day in some capacity, whether that's helping somebody or doing something selfish for yourself? I think was that day successful in your eyes? I don't think you can have like a moment like I'm successful. I think you can feel success, and I think it has to be like every moment. Next question, Dan.
So to piggyback off of something that was said, uncomfortable, what were some of the challenges and uncomfortable moments becoming a coach? Because like you're stepping from what you were doing previous to this into this new role. What were some unforeseen things that you encountered so far?
I would say breaking out of my comfort zone for sure. I knew that when I first came in here, I kind of came in like, okay, I'm going to be a cycling instructor, but deep down I knew that I wanted to be a coach. So I feel like it was my confidence level that I was uncomfortable with. Since then, I feel like I've grown in my confidence and still work in progress, but I feel like that was like the biggest struggle was like actually being honest with myself. So
I think one of the things that people won't see from her that we see that goes behind the scenes is she's always taking notes. She's always asking questions. She's always prepared. She always shows up. I think it's those little efforts that will get monumental successes. It's just doing the little things consistently every single time that make us think that, well, it's not really adding up, but they do add up. Trust me.
okay.
So yeah,
Keep doing it.
Yeah, that was validation for your
Thank
confidence
you.
bucket.
Thank you.
I got a question. How has running impacted your confidence, lack of confidence, mental strength? I know you've completed a couple half marathons. Like, talk about that.
Okay, so
Okay.
actually the first half marathon that I ran, I was at Disney World. It was kind of just like for fun. Yeah.
She ran with Mickey, and then Minnie was behind.
Yeah, I beat Minnie, but it was fun.
There you go.
Kind of did it for the experience. I didn't really train too much, so that kind of kicked me in the ass eventually. But then after that, I was like, you know what? Like that was kind of a challenge, and I enjoyed the challenge. So I was like, let's do another one. I did that one with a friend, and then I was like, you know what? I want to kind of do something for myself. At first, I was kind of like, where do I start? I just kind of was running. I signed up for one that was in October and June, so I had some time. But from there, I kind of was like, where do I start? And then I got the Nike Run Club app, obviously. I really liked, I forget his name, Coach something.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, but so he like coached you through, obviously. And I enjoyed that. But I feel like running was a very big mental outlet for me. So I feel like if I was having a good day, a bad day, whatever, I would just throw on my sneakers and I would go. And I feel like I got a lot of judgment in the fact where I was like, alrighty, like, why are you running a half marathon? It's always that, like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? And it's kind of like, because I want to. Like, why do you care? So, and then I eventually got all my training done. I remember it was the night before. I was super excited. I did have some support system throughout it, friends, family, stuff like that. And I just remember at the start line, I was by myself. I was like, this is really weird. I've never done something by myself like this. And then I did it, and I hit all my goals. I was super accomplished, I feel like, after that. And everyone that judged was like, wow, she did it. And I was like, yeah, I did.
So you proved them wrong.
Exactly. And so the next step for 2024 is a full marathon, because why would I read half a book? So why would I do just half a marathon? So we're going to do a marathon.
I love how she stared right at me.
Like a dead stare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a Tosh.0 thing.
So yeah, I feel like it was a very big mental aspect for me in so many different ways. But yeah, so that's that.
Case, what does running do for you?
I agree. It's like an outlet. I think like the first time you experience runner's high, you like understand why running is so fun, because most people are like, oh my God, I hate running. Like, why do you do that?
Yeah.
But it's like, I didn't love it until a certain point. Like, I was a sprinter for a reason. I did not like running long
I was
distance.
going to say, I ran cross country in high school and I hated it.
You said like whether you're having a good day or a bad day, like you just put on your sneakers and go. And even if if you don't feel like doing it, I haven't done it in a while, but it always helps. Feel better after.
Definitely.
What about you, Dan?
Oh, the runner guy. No, it's a love-hate relationship at this point, because there are some days where you just don't want to run, and we're all there. Just like there are some days you don't want to work out, but you have to do it. For me, it's the one time I can be alone and be out there either on a trail or on the road. I've got my headphones in and I can just clear my mind and work through stuff and process everything. And honestly, in therapy, the one thing my therapist has constantly said is never give up running, because it's the only way you're able to process stuff that goes on in your head. So if anything, it's just therapy with sneakers.
What about you?
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys are all like, I love running. I get therapy from it. I was like, I hate it. I love the accomplishment piece of it, but I actually love running with people because I enjoy the dialogue. I mean,
I'm looking at Dan.
it's a big distraction. But if you think about the 2 to 3, 4 hour runs that you do when you run for a marathon or train for it, I think some of those are the most, enlightening conversations that I've ever had. I remember having some conversations with my buddy Joe and, Jeff when, he was getting deployed. And I think those were some of the most eye-opening hours of my life where you can just kind of like let it out, but still accomplish something and run a long distance. So I actually don't enjoy running by myself because I probably get in my head too much. So, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Dan, your question.
Okay. So now that we've gone on to this, one of the things that we have discussed around here until KC came around is like it was very boy centric. I'm always interested in what's it like being a trainer in your generation with the Instagram filtered life that people have. Like, is that something that you try to avoid looking at so that you
That's
don't?
a good question.
Thank you. I'd like that so that you. Damn, thank you.
He's so caught up guard, he doesn't know what to do.
I was like, oh, God. How do you avoid that, or how do you use that to your advantage?
So are you talking about like Instagram influencers, kind of like fitness influencers?
Part of that, but also just your entire generation has grown up with Instagram. And
The stereotype that you have to be a certain way, look a certain way, lift a certain way.
Okay. Yeah. So that's actually something that I've struggled with for a long time. I feel like I've always kind of been intimidated of a gym from a young age until I kind of just got over it. I remember playing sports and stuff like that. I was kind of like comparing myself to others constantly. Like, I don't look like that, so why do I deserve something like that? I've always kind of been like a thick person. Like, I've never really been like a stick thin type of girl. And that's kind of what I feel like society had portrayed for us, was like, you need to be small to do this, or you need to do that to do that. So I kind of struggle with that. I also struggle with the fact that like I never felt like I was good enough. And that's, I feel like, what social media like encouraged me like to feel, because I feel like I kept seeing like girls that were achieving certain things where I was like, wow, I want to do that, and I didn't think I could, but now I know that I can. So that's kind of where my mindset has kind of shifted on that fact. I feel like a lot of people in our generation though are so social media consumed that they don't realize stuff like that, which is too bad, because I feel like once you break that barrier, then your whole mindset changes. Fitness wise, I see people obviously have fitness accounts and stuff like that, and like they do that for their job solely, like online training, which is great if that's their own thing, but I feel like you're not able to build that personal connection almost. So that's where I feel like I don't think I would want to. I mean, social media is a great tool to use to build, but I don't think I would want to like be posting myself like working out all the time, because I feel like that doesn't necessarily encourage people sometimes. So I feel like that's where a lot of the confidence like within myself, I feel, has grown.
Piggybacking off what she said, how important all three other trainers do you feel like the person-to-person interaction is with clients to get them
extremely, yeah,
to get them to achieve a goal?
Extremely. I feel like that's how you like that relationship is more important, I feel like, than anything, because that's where they're gonna trust you and like realize like, okay, like they're here for me, so like I'm gonna be here for them, and they're gonna help me achieve these goals.
Yeah.
At DBC, they said like your clients are literally trusting you with their body, and that kind of like hit deep. Like I was like, wow, I guess I never really thought of it from that perspective. So, and even like I taught for a couple years through a computer screen and in person, and like it makes a huge difference. Like I think you have to be able to see someone and like be hands-on for it to really be successful, in my opinion.
Yeah. And also at least from my perspective, you'll never be able to, through text or call or anything like that, reach the same level as like the human connection, the one-to-one, the face-to-face. And I think that when you start throwing filters on your like life or filters on your exercise, it can sometimes get lost in translation.
Yeah.
People
100%.
they don't appreciate it, but also they think it's an unobtainable goal.
Yeah.
And I think that people need to realize, like, you know, you come from a family of athletes, like, it's in your genes.
Yeah.
But then again, if you're not athletic, it can still be in your genes. It just takes harder work.
Yeah. I also think that we focus on form a lot here, and how do you coach somebody through a computer screen to fix their form?
Yeah.
Really hard.
You're
You have
supposed
to be
work out.
very, very a great communicator,
Yes.
Yeah.
and I've learned that. And it's also actually, I had a little bit of experience doing that with COVID. I did it with a lot of one-on-ones, but also, I mean, a lot of big groups where there was like 40 or 50 people on a screen, but asking them to move or shift so you could see the angles. And I think that's where, like, you know, that's a level of professionalism that I think a lot of people in our industry don't have, you know, and they don't take it serious. And I think it's like, hey, what's creative? What's a creative movement that we could do that looks fun because it's on social media, not
Yeah.
knowing that the general pop can't do anything like that, and it's going to get them hurt. So I think the social media thing is a very, very tough thing to go with.
Definitely. I feel like a lot of like females our age too that are trainers are kind of trainers where they're like, hey, they post like a workout of like 4 or 5 exercises and then that's it. And like they expect people to like do it. There's no like,
Sure.
again, that relationship. It's just kind of like, here's the workout I'm doing.
Yep.
Like I'm an influencer, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you always said, like, everybody already knows that you can do it. Like,
Yeah.
we're the trainer,
Yeah.
we're the coach. Like, they don't want to see us do it. They want to see somebody else do it that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Things like
Go
that.
make somebody else fit other than
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's more of a testament than you.
For sure.
You're up.
So again, to piggyback off of that, because we were talking about social media, what is a piece of advice you would give to someone younger than us about like health and fitness? Because there's a lot of misconceptions, and it's really easy. You said yourself, like, you were afraid of the gym until one day you just weren't anymore. I grew up in the gym setting, so to me, I never had to experience that fear. So what advice would you give to someone that might have the same fears that you did?
don't believe on like everything you see online, because that's not how it is. Like you can see these super fit, especially like from my personal standpoint, like super fit girls like that are posting these kind of things, but like you don't know like what they're actually doing in the gym and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, don't believe everything you see online, but believe in yourself at the end of the day, because that's what's going to get you from point A to point B. So
How do you feel about those pictures that you see? They're like side by sides of trainers being like posed versus unposed, and it's like a picture of them and they have like a 6-pack and you can see like their butt, and then you see a picture of them like standing normal and they look like a normal person.
yeah, it's like, I can appreciate that because it's like, okay, like you realize
Vulnerability,
that,
yeah.
yes, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
It's like you're basically telling us that what you're preaching is not real.
Yeah, so it's kind of, it's difficult because it's like, yes, you're posting that of yourself, which is good, but it's also like people aren't looking to see that. I feel like they are, but like I just feel like it's not what the right thing to be posting, you know what I mean? That's how you should show yourself all the time. It's not like, because everything's not going to look picture perfect every time. It's going to look like that, but show yourself like that more often, I feel like, because
Okay,
that's going to
yeah.
help people realize like, okay, like they're normal just like me.
Yeah. Thoughts?
I think it's true, guys. We don't have to deal with that a lot. Even though we do. You know, we go to the grocery store, The Rock's on it. He's airbrushed, and he's on every horse pill that there is. I don't think our stereotypes follow it. And some do, some don't.
I guess it depends on, as strange as it sounds, like the world. In that when it comes to like student athletes, one of the things that I've talked to a couple people who are now adults who had to deal with stuff was, we talk about body dysmorphia, and I think it's more openly talked about within females, but not openly talked about within males. And one of the things that I've talked with some of my clients about is cutting weight for wrestling, and how like you either had to suck weight and like try and lose 6 pounds in a week and a half to make a tournament, and you're dehydrated and you're practically at death's door, or you had to overeat to try and go up in a weight class, and it's like you never felt good enough, but then the damage that did to your body later on.
Especially at a younger age.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then like you work with someone who's in their 40s, whose knees are shot, whose back is done, And it's like you wrestled from pee-wees all the way up till high school and you had to have reconstructive surgery. Your body wasn't able to properly heal because you were doing stuff like that. But it was also the image that went along with it. I mean, it's weird I think we've talked about it off camera a lot, about body dysmorphia, but just it's a different version of it. And I don't think that, like you said, with these models and these fitness influencers, they don't show the real them. It's like, no, show yourself hunched over in a chair with belly rolls. That way everyone can see that shit.
Yeah, but okay, so I don't care what they show. How do they feel?
Yeah.
What's their brain like? What are they going through on a day-to-day basis? What battle are they dealing with, to be in that position? How much pressure they put on themselves to look a certain way, to get so many followers, to get so many sponsors. So I don't think, I don't give a shit what you look like. How do you feel? What's your brain like? Like the story about Miss Universe a few years ago where, she ended up committing suicide. She's labeled as one of the most beautiful human beings in the world. It still isn't beautiful upstairs. I have a question.
Okay.
What's the hardest thing about being a trainer? Oh, I love it. We all can go with this question, so she doesn't feel the pressure.
Okay. The hardest thing I feel like so far I've dealt with being a trainer, I don't want to use this word, but I feel like is the hate that I get almost a little bit. Like, people don't understand. Like, I get a lot of why are you doing this? Is this sustainable? Like, what? And it's like, again, I go back to it's my life. Like, why do you care almost? Because at the end of the day, it's myself that I'm doing this for myself and the people that I want to help. And there should be no judgment when it comes to that, because at the end of the day, it's my life, and this is something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I want to do. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to. So I feel like I don't want to use the word hate that I get, but I don't get support sometimes, and I feel like that's where, the hardest part, because it's some people that you thought would be in your corner no matter what are the ones that are going to judge you most at the end of the day.
Does that put a little fuel in your tank then?
Yeah, definitely. It's proving people wrong, chip on your shoulder, but I feel at the end of the day, no one has to understand why I do this but me.
Yeah. Case.
Oh my God. I agree. I kind of took the words out of my mouth. One of the questions I was actually going to ask, and you kind of just answered it, is I was going to ask you, what is something that other people value that you don't? And my answer, if the question came back to me, was going to be being understood.
That's a Jay Shetty answer, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
When I switched over from teaching into this career, I got a lot of backlash, and people are still questioning me. And I have really close friends and family that literally don't even ask me. I'll go weeks, months without seeing them. I see them again, and there's no hey, how is work going? None of people just don't even care to ask. And I don't know why that is, but I used to care a lot about being accepted and validated, and I don't need that validation anymore. So I think originally it was probably like being accepted. That was like the hardest part. But now I think it's like, I know you don't like this word, but like balance. It's really easy to like get sucked in and just, I mean, I love it. So for me, it doesn't necessarily feel like work, but then sometimes I see like my outside relationship suffering a little bit, and I'm like, oh, like I have to take a step back and remember to like make time for everything that's going, like my life outside of here, you know?
Definitely.
What about you guys?
I have my answer. I'm good.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good one. So I think for me, it's time for my own training. As strange as that sounds, I think that has been my hardest thing, is that like, especially maybe not so consistently over the last couple months, is it's like the little bit of time that I try to get, it's like, you know, trying to fit in all of the other stuff, and then you realize, oh crap, it's been like 5 days and I haven't gone running, or 5 days and I haven't gotten a workout in. That has been the hard part for me, because it's also a mental thing. Like, yeah, I need to put myself through the ringer in order to feel better. So, you know, recently I've made blocks of time in my schedule where it's like, I need to do something during this block to recharge physically. And then that actually gives me the boost to make it through the rest of the day. Like, I'm not needing like energy drinks or coffee halfway through the day, which we've kind of survived on for a very long time. But that would be that. And honestly, sidebar, I feel bad that you guys had to go through that shit. where people
I
question
don't.
it.
I don't feel bad.
I guess because I've never had anyone.
Why would you feel bad? I think like everybody needs a little chip on their shoulder. Everybody needs a little bit of people that doubt you.
Yeah.
They doubt you in things that you don't even know. They don't even tell you.
I feel like when you don't have people that doubt you, you don't like.
You're not pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I care too hard. I care too much about people. That's my biggest thing. I gotta stop. Not I can't like stop caring, but I can't take it. I can't put everybody's shit in my book bag and carry it around.
True.
I think that's one of the hardest things for me is having these intimate conversations and taking the time. Like we said, like our process is a little bit different than most. Like we invest a lot of time and effort into people even before they even start training. Hey, you know, what are your goals like? What's your nutrition like? What's your injuries like? Why do you want to get fit? You know, I think when people tell us their most vulnerable, let's call them fantasies of like, hey, I want to be fit for this reason, you know, we hold them to those things. You know, we try to do our best. I think that's the hardest thing for me is carrying that around all the time, especially when you have a big, vast client list. You know, you have kids and you have adults and you have some that are grandparents, and everybody has their different whys and stuff, but everybody also has, you know, their own shit,
Yeah.
including your own. Who's up?
Dan, you ask a question.
Okay, so now that you've had a chance to acclimate, what are some of your favorite parts about coming in here every day? Because there's got to be those.
Yeah, so actually, I love all my clients. I know that I'm still kind of new, and so I'm getting to know people.
Does that mean in a couple of months you're not going to love how you're
no,
going?
I'm always gonna love my clients. But like, I feel like I'm very grateful for everyone that I've met here, especially you guys. I feel like I wouldn't be here today without your little push as well. So I feel like just my
Notice
favorite
how she
part.
looks
I was
right
going
at
to say that.
Casey.
I love that.
Yeah,
Cause
I mean, you definitely. I mean, everyone else too. But
It's just me, guys.
She didn't look me in the eye. She doesn't do it.
I gave you a little side eye.
I
though.
told you she looks at me with a glimmer in her eyes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
different.
But yeah,
She looks
just
at me like a serial killer.
True.
She does.
That's how I look at
I gave
Dan.
you like the side eye. But just like the people I've met here, I'm very grateful. I definitely stepped outside of my comfort zone when I came here. Your gym intimidated me for the longest time. I think I told you that, especially in high school. I have my reasons why, but I don't really know. Now I'm kind of regretful of that because I'm like, this place is like a second home to me now. So I don't know, just everyone I've met here, I love coming in every day. I don't like feel like, oh, I have to go. I'm like, oh, I hate the weekends now because I'm not here. I'm like, I love the week. I hate the weekends. So I don't know, just grateful for this opportunity and everyone I get to meet along the way.
Case, what about you? I even forgot the question.
What was your question? Yeah.
Me too.
What was
Sorry,
your,
I
like what
gamble
your favorite
on.
part was?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's like the community here as a whole. Like I agree. I am never like, oh my God, like I don't want to go to work today. I mean, there are moments where I'm like tired, but that has nothing to do with like actually physically being here. I have really great relationships with clients as well. But I just think this is a very positive atmosphere and it's like really shifted my mindset. And we're at a really vulnerable age where it's kind of like, not to say like make it or break it because you can kind of always redefine yourself, but your early 20s are just a fragile and weird time where you're like trying to navigate so many different things in life. Like you're graduating, maybe you're graduating college, maybe you've already been in a career for several years, maybe you're starting over, kind of like we are, maybe, I don't know, you're moving out of your parents' house. Like there's just a lot of different things that some people that I know are getting married and having babies. Like it's just a very interesting time. And so I don't know. I'm grateful that I am able to like surround myself with people that are actually like trying to uplift me and make me a better person in the long run rather than people that are like going out and drinking and like doing things that just like I don't necessarily associate myself with anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like I'm at a different place. So that's my answer. What about you guys?
Here you go.
I like it. Ryan's like, go. The home thing is very true. I love this so much. And the other thing is, this is the first job that I've loved this much, but has also given me different kinds of challenges. I'm working with people and you know you're positively affecting their life. Like you know what you're doing. But also, strangely enough, as uncomfortable as they can be, some of the meetings that we have had
Good?
We are good.
Technical difficulties.
It wouldn't be a great podcast if
No.
we'd have something go wrong. Jesus
Podcast.
Christmas.
You were saying.
Yeah, so some of the meetings that we have are very uncomfortable.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Good.
Like, fucking devil horns are popping out. But
Mine or yours?
both.
Mine.
But here's the thing. Those push me to be a better person and reevaluate how I am. And if I, like, to be better at the job that I love, sometimes you have to have uncomfortable conversations. And those make me also a better person because then I reevaluate, like, okay, well, how can I put this in my real life? And it's like, in my mind, I'd like to be great at everything as much as humanly possible. And this place makes me able to do that.
Those meetings that we have are very uncomfortable for me, though, too, because from a leadership position, I try not to lead from dictation, but from example. And the hardest thing for me to do is to cater the goal to the masses and not individualize them to say, like, hey, Dan, you got to do this, and Eden, you got to do this, and whatever. I want you to feel uncomfortable because you've gone through a lot of things that are harder than what I'm asking you guys to do. Mm-hmm. Think about that. Think about the things in your life that, they always say, like, think about your worst day ever. Was that a sneeze?
No, it was a cough.
Oh, my God. I was rudely interrupted by like
I want to like.
you always make out your worst day alive. So whatever you think that, oh my God, this is the worst day that I've ever had, look where you are now. So the things that I try to push you guys to do, as well as myself, because it's not easy, is just for your personal benefit, but everybody else's benefit too, especially your clients. Especially if you can handle a day that's 12 hours. Can you handle a day that's actually not 12 hours, it's two shifts?
Yeah.
As we look at each other like we all know what they're like. Let's wrap it up because it's 7:20.
Okay.
Eden, you have questions for us.
Yeah, sure. Well, I kind of already told you my question yesterday, so I kind of come up with a new one. Talking about younger selves, what if you could go back and give your younger self a piece of advice, knowing what your life looks like, what would it be and why? Oh,
Casey,
boy,
go.
was that
I'll
a
go.
bad
Casey,
question?
go.
So I thought about the question you originally mentioned yesterday, and then I kind of started thinking about it, and I was looking through my camera roll, and I saw something that I always reference it, but somebody wrote it on the board at DBC with no context. They literally wrote it and then never talked about it, and I took a picture of it, and it says, know what you know what you don't know. And so it's like, be confident in the things that you know, and also be confident in what you don't know to the point where you feel comfortable enough to ask people for help or like try to educate yourself and make yourself better. I don't know if like it's apparent to like the public eye or not, but I have like severe high functioning anxiety to where sometimes it comes across like very organized or hardworking, but in reality I actually am like a perfectionist to where it's like a little bit unhealthy. So I have to work on that. And growing up, that translated in not great ways. Like I formed some unhealthy habits because of that. So I think I would try to just tell myself that, you can do it and just be confident in yourself because I wasn't at the time. So
You are very high functioning, organized, and all that stuff. So
it's good and bad, a blessing and a curse.
I wouldn't.
I'm dreading this.
I wouldn't give him any advice.
No?
Nope.
Yeah.
The reason why is and I actually had this conversation with someone recently. Everything I am able to do that is considered hard stuff is done because of all of the shit I put myself through earlier in life. And if I looked up to that kid and was like, don't drink ever, it's like, no, me being an alcoholic forced me to have to make some very tough choices as a parent. Okay. Or, hey, don't do this. It's like, well, then I might not have ended up here. It's the butterfly effect. No, I want to just look at him and be like, all right, and just walk away. Let him do his thing. Because it's worked.
Okay.
I see you making eye contact. I wouldn't change anything or say anything because I think everything is supposed to happen for a reason. And I think you're supposed to go through shit. You're supposed to feel the triumphs and you're supposed to feel all the feels. And as I learn more now going to therapy, I would just say, is the juice always worth the squeeze? That is the one thing I always say is like, I've sacrificed a lot in my life to not have certain things, but I've also sacrificed a lot in my life to have certain things. So I think the reevaluation of what's important in your life, I think shifts as you get older and going through life and experience and relationships and friendships and businesses and jobs and titles and careers. I would tell that person, go through it all, embrace the suck. Mm-hmm. So look forward to it. Don't wear your victim pants every single day and be like, what was me? Because you always make it on the other end alive.
True.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
All right. So
the most dramatic cough we've had on the show.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you. So follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Check Eden's post today. She's got a dope post coming out. Make sure you guys
Stay
follow
tuned.
that.
So thank you, Coach Eden, for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
It wasn't so bad, was it?
No, it really wasn't. I
See?
mean, my hands are a little sweaty. It's okay. We got through it.
You did.
As always, check us out everywhere you can find us. And until next time, this was Coaching Over Coffee. I'm Coach Dan for Ryan, Casey, and Eden. Have yourselves a fantastic Thanksgiving Day weekend. Now how do I find the exit button?
Let me see.
Right, you do it. People are like awkwardly staring now.
He also cornered his. It's just